Hi guys, it's Jamie here, and what I've decided to do for Botanical Main Creators Club is I've got a video where I antique up these printables that we're putting into our shop soon. I destroy them a bit further, and that's part of the video tutorial. Then I've used some fussy cuts which Zern advertised in our group recently to decorate. The tutorial on grunging the papers and putting it together comes first, and then I thought, particularly as this is the botanicals group, so although I've done that botanical themed, I thought I'd also try a slightly cleaner look using botanical papers and old book pages. Instead of really bashing up the printables, I've just used vintage photo on the edges to age them and done some torn edges, and just used it with the actual papers. There's walkthroughs at the end of both. So we're going to go into that tutorial now. Today I want to show you how to make a really simple document wallet that's going to make a notebook with plenty of writing space for you as a junk journal, using our newest kit, which are these beautiful document papers that also have plain pages as well that you can print on the reverse. I've already started to prepare some papers. And what I've been doing is deliberately tearing out the white edges rather than cutting them, because I want an old document look. So something we'll be doing in today's tutorial is making these papers look even older than they currently look. I'll show you what I've been doing initially with my papers. I don't even know how many I've printed up, but I've printed them up onto 120 GSM because I want to be able to scrunch them. So that's just a good quality paper. A printer paper is normally 80 to 90 GSM, so it's stronger than that, but it's not necessarily a cardstock, although the cover I make will be from cardstock. A lightweight cardstock, 200 GSM. All I'm doing is using a ruler, a normal ruler, grabbing bits of paper and tearing along an edge. Here's all the papers that I've got ready for this document wallet. I've also got a hammer, and what we're going to do now is very carefully hammer and tear at the edge of these papers a little bit more. This is a slow process. You don't just have to use a hammer. You can also use things like a metal ruler to get more tears. You can take less papers. When you've been around all the edges, you're also going to grab the papers, scrunch them up, get your hammer, bash them a bit, and generally just really work these papers into a bit of a mess. All these papers have now been scrunched up and had the edges attacked to a certain degree. What we're going to do now is get some vintage photo, go round these scrunched up edges. Even got a nice rip in that one. Go a bit over the paper in places, very lightly, because this paper will stain because it's only printer inkjet, not laser print. Get it a bit wet and create some runs on this paper. You can also do this with ink spray if you've got ink spray. So we'll do a version with ink spray so you can see the difference. So here's the alternative way to age those papers, and it's up to you what effect you like. And that will be to spray the edges, spray a little bit down into them, then get an ink stain that's a spray. And I've actually got 3 here. I've got walnut stain, antique linen, and vintage photo. Spray along the edges, spray some more water so it moves down the papers. Gather this lot up, do the same, spray lots of water, get a different colour, say the antique linen, that one a blast, spray with a bit more water. Another way to do this will be to take your sprays, put them onto like a jelly plate or this wax paper, Mix them up. Grab your paper, lay it on, spray it with water, get it to run. You can get different effects for your papers depending on what look you want. You can experiment and decide which looks better. You can try spraying it with water first and then lay it on. 3 different ways you can get these to look older, uniquer. You can get black coffee, so play and let the papers dry. I actually had these out drying on the washing line because it's such a beautiful day here. So I've got the papers dry and dyed. I still quite like a stronger border. So I'm going to go back over them with an actual ink. I don't know if this is going to be strong enough or whether I need to use a different one. I'm going to go around all the papers, maybe where there's some creases, pick those up. So we start to really age these up. I know this is a lot of prep, but I'm hoping it's going to be worth it in the final result. In addition to these papers, I've also, for some old books, I know it's a document folio, but I'm currently doing the Botanics Creator Club, so I thought if I include one Botanics paper, then some fussy cuts for decorating maybe later, that will give that a Botanics twist. And then I also want to do one in our poppies. I've got something from a children's book on Yorkshire, and some Russian dictionary. I'm going to take one of the papers and make sure that the paper I'm putting in is not bigger. I may even make it a bit smaller by ripping a few little bits off and edge them. With these papers that have been edged that have come from books, something I'm going to do is take the white gesso and scrub over the papers, so it's just a dry brushing motion, and we'll be doing it on both sides. These papers have now been white gessoed over both sides. Here I have what's going to be our cover, so it's the same papers but this time with the white borders just removed and stained with the vintage photo around the edges. I'll use my scoreboard for this one. I'm going to take about 3/4 of an inch score line and then fold that one over. I'm going to stain this edge because this is now the new folder edge, both sides. Then we're going to put our papers into this cover. I'm going to need to tear some down to get them to fit inside this and restain a few edges. These have now been torn down and I have 7 papers in total. What I'm going to do is place them so that the typed pages from books are roughly centre, paper clip them, and then paper clip everything again. Using my ruler, mark up my halfway point. I want to make sure all my papers catch. A hole there, there, there. We should have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the largest setting. I'm going to go through each one. They probably will not line up perfectly. Now 5 holes have been punched into this. We're going to put some brads into it. The middle one we want relatively loose because we want to get a string under that. Once you've got all of them in, now you want to fold it up to make a wallet. So you're going to fold everything, and when you're happy with that fold, then you can come in with your bone folder and make it sharper, and then the same on the other side. The next thing I want to do is to edge where we've created some creases now in these papers. Ink along all of those creases, both sides. Here is all the pages where the creases have now had ink added, so they stand out even more. So we're grunging that look up. We want to get the string under the middle one. Tie a knot. I'm going to try and lift it back up again to get that knot under there and double knot it. Now we're going to push that back in over the top of that string, tighten up those bits, and then when we want to tie it up, we can just wrap both ways. Next we need to decorate. Decoration for this style of journal is quite simple because it's more of a writing journal than one with flips and tucks and pockets. So I have some of Zern's vintage ephemera botanical set that she was selling the other day, and I've also got some brown labels and numbers. All we're going to do is some simple collage just to give the wallet a theme. The reason I've chosen brown is so that when this goes on, it has a background that works with it. I do also have some spare papers from this kit that I've torn and stained. The label where you can write the journal name, and now we can add our botanical, and that's a nice simple front of folder decoration. Then we have this to decorate. Similar idea. I still actually have some of that paper, but I might turn it the other way. Might bring it slightly that way so the number can go down on a diagonal corner. I'm going to work on doing some more of these pages with some very light decorations and show you how that looks. Let's take a look at all the decoration I've done with this document wallet. It opens up like a trifold, but actually you end up with it opening like this. As you can see, I've done some very, very simple collage on pieces. You can actually write on that, and then when you turn it out you end up with a big double page. Over here I've just added a fussy cut. Onto this book page I've added a postcard from the Essential Ephemera kit to create a writing space. On this book page I've added another fussy cut. When that opens, we have some washi tape on two corners, not much detail there. An area of interest on a plain page, which is for writing on. Nice simple decorations throughout, very quick to do. The fussy cut and lots of writing space. The botanical page, I don't think I've added anything to that on that side, and on this side just a little label and a bit of washi that you can write on. Over here on this busy document style page, a writing area and some decoration, and a plain piece from an existing book page. On this complex page, half a doily and then some washi and a small label, and on this book page a label, a fussy cut and a number. Lots of labels on this page, so again you've got some writing space. On here a big writing area with some very basic decoration, and then the same on the last two pages, which includes the cover. And then when you fold it all up and it all folds in on itself, that is the very, very back of the folio as well. So I think that's a quick little project. Next we're going to walk through one that's been made with the botanical papers. Here is the document wallet again, but this time done with the botanic papers. I haven't aged the botanic papers except to use distress ink vintage photo on the creases. I've double printed it so that the inside cover you can also write on, so I'm trying to give as much writing space as possible. Very quick decoration, very quick binding system. If you open it, it goes like this, so you have writing spaces. Here's an old botanical book page. I've created some writing spaces on old book pages from the botanical kits. We used a little bit of washi here and there, some fussy cuts, but generally I've kept it pretty simple in terms of decorating, writing spaces and that type of thing. That is the botanical version of the document wallet. I made this in about an hour, including decoration. If you want to mass produce, this is a great little style for mass producing. I will catch you very, very soon. Bye.